Good morning, all. I have in front of me a System 80 SpiderMan board set that I have rehabbed. It came with a power supply, a sound card. The driver board was too hacked to be repaired, so I'm going to supply the client with a nice clean one and the MPU board. Also, the client needs a couple of pop bumper driver boards, and I have a couple of nicely refreshed boards here. They still need to be washed, but I have tested them 100%. The power supply I've tested 100% also. Somebody had begun a rehab of that power supply, but they left some components out, so I had to replace the missing components, plus complete the rehabilitation, including new headers for the 3 power headers, and trim pot and some other stuff that's noted on the hang tag, which, by the way, you can leave these hang tags on. They will not cause a problem. The soundboard was in the same condition. It was half rehabilitated, so I had to replace this, I think that's a 4.7K resistor, all the caps on the board. The big cap that typically leaks did leak a little bit, so I've replaced it and cleaned up some traces. I don't know what they were doing to this board, but they've cut some traces along the way, so I've repaired all those also. Again, a clean driver board, and the MPU board had some alkaline corrosion, and somebody had attempted to repair it, but didn't do a very good job. This will last forever now, the way I've done it. It did have a dead 7474 and a 7404 in the solenoid drives. I have added a ground connection. It's grounded to my power supply right now. But when you get your power supply back, you'll be able to screw it, all 4 wires down to the ground point that I've identified on the power supply. And I've supplied the wires. And each of these wires will go one to the MPU, one to the driver board, one to the sound board, right there, and then the one with the loop on it will connect to the speaker metal in the head. So let's fire it up. And this takes a 5 seconds delay. And one of the things that was really throwing me for a loop was the ROM that came in this board was not a SpiderMan ROM. And the ROM in the sound card is not a SpiderMan sound card. That was clearly obvious. But when I first booted the MPU successfully, it wasn't lighting all the lamps on the playfield. Like these 2 top lamps weren't lit, the green ones. But they are now, and everything is working fine. Now I have my switch tester connected. Let me close this door a little bit so we can see some displays. I'm going to go around to the front of the game, put it into test. I'm going to skip to 16 by pressing the credit button. And then the coin lockout relay. And then it starts into lamp attract mode. You can see all the lamps on the playfield are lighting correctly. Yep. Now let's advance to test 17. So all the solenoid drives are working correctly. Test 18 is switch test. And you may have noticed in the solenoid test that it skipped a few solenoids. That is because the coin counter solenoids are skipped routinely in System 80 games. So now I'm going across row 1, and that proves that all the rows and columns are working correctly. Row 7 is the diagnostic button. We'll pull back a little and we'll do some display test. I like to see the ones get tested because they are driven differently via the CPU than any other digit. You'll notice my top left display is a 7-digit display. I was going to convert this over to 7 digits, and I can do that. I just haven't had the time to do the rest of them. Steve Charland and I were working on that before Steve passed away, and he had done it to his black hole, and I'm going to do it to the Spider-Man eventually. I chose to use an adapter card rather than rewiring it. I think I'm just going to go back and rewire it. Test 20 is a memory test. Let me get that. And it should come up 99. And it does. So everything is working correctly on this board set now. So I'm going to play a little Spider-Man just to make sure. But I think she's good to go. Thank you so much for sending it. And here we are playing some Spider-Man. If anybody can identify these game sounds, I'd appreciate it. I'm going to have to play one-handed. So those are clearly not Spider-Man sounds. I'm not sure what that is. Hulk, maybe? Although Hulk was a System 1. What am I thinking? All right, that's enough of that.